All right. Well, I guess welcome back. It has been a long time and a long update on the Z32, and that's for good reason. Essentially, to make it a short and sweet update, the motor we were sold was junk. We got it running, and it just had zero oil pressure. Um, we tried everything. We primed the new oil pump and we took the port out of the side of the motor, put a gauge on it, nothing. Put a gauge on the back of the head where the actual sensor goes, nothing. Nothing was even, there was fluid coming out, but it wasn't enough to build pressure. So essentially, what I did is pulled the motor, rebuilt it. I was kind of frustrated, so I didn't film any of it. And it's essentially OEM, well, Mali rings now. Rings, bearings, got the crank turn 20 and 40,000, no, 20 and 10 thousandths, which is a lot. Got new cam bearings in it. It has a BTR Red Hot cam in it now. LS7 lifters, trunnion upgrade kit, BTR push rods, BTR trunnions. It's kind of like an OEM rebuild without pistons because then you need the cylinders rehoned, which I just ended up using a flex hone from Summit Racing, and that worked great just to get the cross hatching back into the motor. Now that that's back, it's back in the car. It actually moved on its own power a couple days ago, and it sounds insane. It has a chop, and it's good. What we're doing now, let me get it real quick. Quick pause. I can't pause this, so give me like 2 seconds. Alright, I'm back. We originally used the car's propped in the skyline right now. We used Amazon shorties, and they work. They actually do work if you need to use them. You do have to. They are V-band, which is nice. I prefer that, but you have to cut it at an angle because one, it will just completely point straight to your starter, and these already have heatsink issues, so make sure you're aware of that. I'm gonna set this down real quick somewhere. And with that, I'm already like 2 minutes and 30 seconds into this. And I bought an Osmo for Japan, that's what we used, and the quality of it is so much nicer than using a 6-year-old phone. Matt, if you're watching this, I haven't got a new one yet. Leave me alone, dude. But with that being said, this is what we're going with, and it was a very, very expensive buy, but I don't want it. We had to smash that collector in, and I don't want to do that, and it looks like crap. And plus, it's pointing at the starter on the passenger side. I just want to do it the right way. With that being said, you probably know where this is going if we're talking about headers. So, instead of buying the full 10 kit, like the complete package of the swap kit from LOJ, we did it in pieces, and this is a LOJ Z32 LSX, or just LS series header, and look at it. They're nice. They're Cooks, which is funny because we live in Charlotte area of North Carolina, and Cooks I thought was out of Mooresville, but they're not. I guess they're in Statesville now. So I tried to order directly from them, but you can't. You just have to order it from Steven, which is fine. And they came from Statesville, which is like an hour from me. So it's just funny that I ordered them through New Jersey, and they shipped and were made an hour away. I just find it funny. So without that being said, let's get them on. That's more or less what this video is. So let's get to it. If you look, these are the shorties, and like I said, they're off right now. But if you put them on, I don't know how well you can see it. They're just pointing directly at the starter right there, and these have heat soak issues already. So we're going to pull these off. Another thing, I know someone will point it out. The headers, they're all firing on all 8 now. The mist color is from whenever it had no oil pressure. The two it'd be cylinder 2 and 8 weren't firing, so that's why there's different coloring. But I ran enough to bleed the coolant system. We have 60 pounds of oil pressure, which is amazing. Now that we're kind of into it, there is a gentleman, I don't know, I watched it a couple days ago just so I had like a overview or overlook on kind of the best way to do this with the headers that are specific for this, and it was good. But he didn't film the one side, which is, if you're doing this, you already know, is the steering shaft. So I am going to cover that and also cover the passenger side too. All right, on to the next fun disaster of engineering. You have to take your steer spindle out. There's the old O2 sensor, or the V-band, I just haven't unclipped yet. You have to take your steering shaft off from up there, right there, all the way down to right there. The only thing I'm worried about right now is if it's going to hit my AN lines that I made, because they're just 90s, they're not like 115s. So we're about to figure that out. But I will show you the best way to get that off. Alright, the best way that I can explain to do this is your steering shaft, right? It bolts up in there like this. They're 13mm bolts. You have 2 of them right here. One there, one on the other side. And you have these little spacers, the plastic pieces. Make sure not to lose those because they do fall off when you drop this. Unbolt these. You'll need a 2-foot extension. And then this is the fun part. This actually goes to a U-joint link that goes onto your steering spindle on your rack and pinion. These splines are super small. If they're messed up, you're gonna have a fun time getting them on and off. But as you can see, this shaft retracts inside of this cylinder. It's 30 years old. It's seized. I have heated it multiple times. I have put grease in here and ran this in. There's a helicopter, it's really loud. I have sprayed WD-40 on this, just trying to lubricate it. It is getting easier because this is like the 6th time I've had to do this. With it in the car, keep this connected first. Take a long punch like this, and then hit it like this if this is seized. Eventually, once you start hitting it, it'll start going boop, 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 boop. And then once this is clear, but once this is out of the U-joint, which I still have on the rack and pinion, it just... You have to take this off because this goes in between the headers. We have ran into our first issue. So the Osmo does not like to be inverted. I apologize. So the headers are in. This is the clutch line. You do have to delete this top one, this is aggravating. I'm sorry. But anyways, the first headache that is you have to take these two 10mm brackets off because it's hitting right here. Now that I'm getting fuming because this is not fun, couple things that you're going to run into. Let me show you. First one is if you have an Osmo, you can't invert it. But even if you have the clutch, I guess high temp one from Z1, that bracket right there that holds your clutch line, whenever you push the flange on the headers flush, it it's hard to do with one hand because these are heavy. It hits that. So you have to trim that off. I haven't trimmed the bracket off yet and seen if I can keep the lines or not because it is an insulated line already. So that should be fine. I haven't really checked yet. Let's go on to the next thing. I would love to have a lift. Do I not have this jacked up right now? I just don't think I have. No, it's high enough. I'm hitting on something. Alright, so you gotta take it all the way off the... Alright, I said I was going to film putting them up in there, but all you have to do is take the steering shaft off. You have to take it off of the rack and pinion also, which is aggravating. If you have AN lines, and these are PTFE ones, which means the lines are even shallower than a regular AN line, and I learned that last night because I just made them. You have to take them off because they hit. And then you also have to take your power steering line off from the actual. It's on the rack and pinion, but it's right there. If you're doing this, you know where it is. And then it'll slide up like so. So they're in. It is really surprising how. I mean, granted, I gotta pull it in just like a 1/4 inch, but how close it is to that fuel line. I'm kind of surprised on that. Granted, that heat shield is there, but I'm sure I will deal with that later in the future. And then let me get under and show you what that looks like. Alright, so that's what they look like. The fun part, that sucks, is right here. For me anyways, I got a little banjo extension onto it. Because I went to a hydraulic shop and had this made. Actually, O'Reilly's will make these, that's where I went. It's expensive. You pay for the fittings, you don't pay for the hoses. And then my AN line, like I said, this thing does not like being inverted. And then my AN lines go right there. And I had to take that off. So now I have to try and see if I can get this to fit, because the absolute wild opening in here for the steering shaft kind of pushes this way. So that's fun. So now, practically, since this is on here, we have to go back around and do this, all the accessories kind of again. I'm not heat wrapping this because heat wrap keeps the heat in the pipe, whereas in this cools really efficiently. But it will. I haven't decided if I want to get it ceramic or Cerakoted or anything, and we will go off of that.